Y'all getting bonnet alchemist today. I do not care. Self-help, self-wealth. I wanted to make this video because I tried to look up the information and it was nowhere online. So I was like, if I was lost a little bit, I know there's thousands of other people that's lost, with this system as well. And leave the toxicity alone, bro. I'm still having fun with Destiny. Don't bring that ish over here. If you think the game is dead and don't want to play it, whatever, that's you. Okay, power to you. I'm still enjoying it personally. With new builds and playing new character stuff, I still have fun playing with my friends and family. That's me. But I just hit 450 recently, right? And Bungie changed their system where you can get a guaranteed tier 5 from portal activities once you hit 450. So I was like, okay, well, how do I do that? So if you go over here and you look at you got platinum now for your reward ranks. If you look over here, right, at C plus 456, right? B, I get that +1 power. It's a tier blue. It's tier 4 now, right? So then to get tier 5, you don't have to get an A. You get an A plus. Guaranteed tier 5, and it's 2 power above. So I was like, okay, I just gotta make sure my modifiers make it that it's A plus or at least A rank, close to the cuff for me to get A plus. So then I was like, okay, turn on the usual stuff, yada yada yada, turn on the usual stuff to get my multiplier up. And then I started putting on these 10 things, and I was like, oh, that's enough, right? And it has started getting to the point I was making the power delta too high that I was over here struggling. I'm talking about I was over here freaking putting this mug up, trying to get to A plus with the +20s in order for it to get to the A plus tier. And once I did that, I was like, oh, I'm freaking -50. And that drops your damage a lot, right? So I was like, how am I supposed to get tier 5 if this difficult? And I know some of you guys probably thought that too, right? But in actuality, this projection over here, Bungie got to do a better job at this. They need to add some extra descriptions saying like, this the projection if you don't do this or if you don't do that. Or start adding things like, oh, if you do these things inside here, it'll bump your grade into this. Like they need to be like, oh, C rank if you just beat the mission. But if you beat the mission in time, it's a B rank. But if you beat the side quest too, it's an A rank. They need to add that extra text. Because in actuality, you do not need to be -50 or -40 to get A plus to get to tier 5. You do not need that. In actuality, you should never ever be -50, -40. Shoot, not even -30 in activities. -20 is easy, but you should never be that. You should always be above level or like maybe -10. That's the limit, right? So in order to get a tier 5, once you hit 450, I know people think, oh, once you hit 451, just go straight to ultimate, which Bungie does throw you on in Fireteam Ops. Okay, if you go to Fireteam Ops and you select something that's matchmaking, once you hit 451, Bungie immediately throw you in -40 in matchmaking content. That's why it's so difficult, okay? And then to get easier, your power get up closer to 500. But that's why it's difficult doing Fireteam custom matchmaking, whatever, and Fireteam Ops. You will get a tier 5 doing these activities. It's just way harder, okay? But this is a good diagram to let you know what you should be aiming for to get your tier 5 loot. So if you look at this right here, the points right here, it says, we're gonna look at the beginning, 1,038,092. Just pay attention to the first 4 digits, 1,038, right? This is basically the points you aiming for before you start your activity with modifiers and stuff. Basically you want your bar to be on B plus, kissing the cuffs of A rank in order for you to get your tier 5 loot at the end of a mission. Because the game don't tell you when you beat the mission in time, if you beat it while you still got time left over, it tells you get bonus points. But that bonus points is a lot. It's like 15% they tell you, right? 15% is a lot for you to hit the next goal. And I know people ain't doing the math on the calculator to see if it equates to the A+. People ain't doing that. Okay, they just pressing start. Okay, Bungie making us do the math when the math should be already accumulated in the game for us. So you want to aim for B+, kissing the cuffs of A, in order for you to get your tier 5s. So what you'll do is, if you're playing with your friends, you'll set it up in the custom. And this works in Pinnacle Ops and Fireteam Ops. If you're playing with your friends, you're setting up your custom modifiers. But what you'll do is, in Solo Ops, you'll go to a mission. Doesn't matter. We'll pick Skywatch, right? You'll go to a mission. You will not be on Ultimate. And Ultimate also shows you too. Ultimate, it tells you. Aim for 1048 for you to get that tier 5 at the end if you beat it in time to get it, right? But you don't have to be on Ultimate -40 to do that. All you do is just go to Grandmaster, and all you do is lock your gear, no ammo, no HUD, Brawn. Bane, the Bane multiplier give you more than the challenge multipliers, okay? Just letting you guys know that. If I do +20 modifier right here, it puts me up to 895, right? But if I take this off and I put on the Bane +20 to the Delta, it puts me up at 926. So always have a Bane modifier on. I know Bane sucks, but always have that on, okay? So you want to put on a Bane modifier, and then you just want it to be 460. So basically you want to be -10, which is super easy. So you just put in the +10s that you're comfortable with, right? Until you're 460. Combat power, and boom, you got what you need for you to beat the solo, well, beat the mission to get the tier 5 loot. Now keep in mind, in Solo Ops you still got to make sure you do the side quests in the Solo Ops to get your +tier loot, your tier 5 loot with the time limit. So you got to beat it in the time limit, which you should already be doing naturally. They give you a lot of time, but you also got to make sure you're doing the side objective, whether you get ability kills, precision kills, or weapon kills, whatever it may be, and you'll get your tier 5. Also, what the game will tell you, but Bungie have stated, the bonus drops you get also will equate to the tier that you the tier of the loot you get. So if you get tier 5 as your rating for the bonus loot, your bonus loot gonna be tier 5 as well. So if you're grinding for a specific armor piece or certain gun in that activity, make sure you're getting the bonus drops. Do the bonus drop activities on purpose, because you will get tier 5s or extra loot that comes from that activity. So you farm for a particular armor set or a particular gun in Pinnacle Ops, something like that, make sure you're doing the bonus drop activities and getting that tier 5. And I'm finna showcase to you guys some gameplay and speed run this. But also too, what Bungie don't tell you, any focus activity. Oh, before I go too, if you have all feature gear on, where you can turn on Touche, you do not need to be at 460. You can take one of the modifiers off and you still would equate to what you need to get it. So actually, if you got Touche on, the activity won't be anything higher than you. It'll be 450 equating to your same power. So this is also the reason why the new update Bungie talking about making these modifiers don't add extra delta to the activity anymore, and just flat out just making it like ultimate like -30 and stuff. It's a horrible change to grinding. That's gonna make grinding longer and harder for no reason at all. So hopefully, I hope Bungie's seeing people feedback and don't go with that change, because that change is terrible. Change is terrible, man. That'll make grinding way harder. Now, what Bungie doesn't tell you is that activities like this, you see Mint Retrograde is the extra bonus focus for this activity, right? Even though it's the bonus featured weapon for that activity, if the weapon drop for you in that activity, if it doesn't drop from the actual reward of completing the activity, it will not be a tier 5. Even if you get an A+, it will not be a tier 5, which is the sad part. So as you can see, my bonus objective, it says thin the combatant forces. I gotta kill 65 enemies, and I gotta beat this within the time limit in the bottom right corner. Pretty simple, and then I'll just jump cut showing you guys the reward at the end for me doing it on this difficulty after doing the bonus objective and beating it within the time limit. All right, so I beat it, did my side objective. As you see, I beat it within the time limit in the bottom corner. This activity had like one bonus reward to it, or 2 bonus rewards to it. So you're gonna see A+ pop up, and then you're gonna see tier 5s rain out of this chest, since I did everything I need to do for the A+ to happen. And there you go. You see 3 tier 5s immediately. Okay, now the tier 5 that you get from the bonus gear won't be extra power, as you can see right here. Well, this tier 4. So there's 2 things I'm showing. So this is the feature weapon for this this solo portal activity, the sidearm, and it dropped at tier 4. So I wish Bungie changed that the feature weapon does drop at tier 5. You get an A+, but it doesn't sadly right now. Hopefully they change that in the future, because then it's like, why am I farming if it ain't going to be a tier 5? You know what I'm saying? But as you can see, this is my completion. Drop the tier 5 sniper. I don't care for it, so I'm gonna fuse it. But they'll go to tier 5 from completing the activity. And then this is the bonus reward that dropped from the bonus gear green Ingram with a tier 5 as well. If I cared about this linear, then, you know, got good perks on it, ain't gonna lie. Precision instrument, rolling storm, you even got the rapid hit precision instrument. But, you know, now that temporal blast ain't good anymore, and it ain't really good for DPS. But also the it was 2 bonus gears on this, so there was another tier 5 that dropped. I'm just showcasing you guys why you should go for the green Ingrams as well if you're farming for tier 5s in general, right? So that's what you would do for every activity. You will make sure that that's the points you're aiming for. You're aiming for that cuffs of B+ at the end of the edge. Some of you guys probably knew this. You're probably already doing this for, you know, before 450, but you was able to make the B+ a little bit lower. You had to get like the bar halfway. For this, it gotta be on the cuffs for you to get that A+. Okay, again, like I said, you do this in single, you do this in solo ops. Make sure to do the side quest and beat it in time. Fire team ops, Bungie automatically gonna throw you on 500 ultimate if you're doing matchmaking with randoms. But if you with your teammates, your friends, them, then you can customize it to make it easier at 450, 460 for y'all to do, for y'all to get the tier 5s as a team, as a group, which is very important. Because, like, for example, this got 3 bonus gear and stuff on it, right? If you and your team are farming for certain armor sets and stuff, then you can easily get the tier 5s your friends, and y'all can farm for the smoke jumper armor set that's very good for the 2-piece, and trying to get the tier 5 for the Drang and the Mighty Motul stuff. Y'all can do that together as a team instead of just by yourself, which I recommend, because incentivize, because you get more drops in fire team activities. You know, fire team activities, if the activity is long like Onslaught, you already get 4 reward completions for doing that, so that's 4 tier 5s. And then if you got bonus drop with that, that's 3 bonus drops, so that's 7 tier 5s dropping for you. It's insane. Crucible, as long as you're playing good in Crucible, you easily get a A+. So I don't have to talk about Crucible. It ranks tier 5s in there easily from you just doing good in there, okay? And just decent. You only gotta win or lose. Just make sure you're doing decent in Crucible, okay? And same thing with Pinnacle Ops. So all this applies everywhere, okay? Just make sure you got that and you get your tier 5. Now, if you're not at 450, then of course you won't be able to pull this off. I mean, it makes the activities easier. Again, if you're still grinding your light, that's the easiest way to grind your light, making things lower deltas for you so you can kill them easily and speed run, right, with your friends and stuff. But if you look for tier 5s and you're not 450, raid is the best way. If you can find yourself a raid team, raid drops tier 5s in there easily by putting on feats. If you can't do raid, your only option really is to get to 450. I'm sorry if that's like hard for you. Grind the light have definitely got easier. And a bunch of implement that freaking power change that they brought up, it's going to be worse. So hopefully they do double back on that. But I want to make the video. I'm done yapping. Just want to tell you guys how to get tier 5s when you hit 450, because there's not really no video out there telling you how to do it now that 550 is the new power cap. So this is how you get tier 5 when you hit 450, to the point that there's really no reason to go for 550 in the game at all, unless you're trying to do your conquests, which forces you to get to at least 535. You don't need 550 in the game. Once you hit 450, any power you gain from that is just making activities easier for you to get tier 5s. So right now, me getting higher than 450 is just making it easier for me to grind tier 5s with the enemies being weaker than me, even though they already at 450 for me if I got Touche on, or they only negative 10 above me with 460. So 450 is your real goal in this game now, guys. 550 is not the thing to grind for unless you care about doing the conquests. Other than that, there's no reason, guys. Have fun, play the game, get your tier 5 loot, and go about your day. You know, go about your day. So yeah, if you want the game to be easier, go above 450, basically, for farming. Anyway, love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Always hope this guide helped you guys out a little bit on how it works after you hit 450. And until next time, stay up.